Hey, how's it going? I want you to look at my sign. Whoa! Get your Dramamine ready. Please look at my signs before I begin. Oh, yeah, particularly this area here. Right there. That. There will be notes in the info box, is what I'm trying to convey. So, whoa! I really should move it along because my phone is acting so strangely. It's like on its last legs. So, I want to talk about this movie that my really fun and cool movie group on Facebook turned me on to, called Landscape with the Invisible Hand. It's a sci-fi, and I was just gonna say it doesn't leave the planet Earth, really. It sort of does briefly, but it takes place here on Earth, the Earth timeline of this movie. So it's like I don't know, like I don't know if it's indie, or I should have looked at this before it started out. Oh, I'm blowing it. But the info box, where I'll have notes pertaining to what I'm talking about right now, when I don't remember to look stuff up before I get started. I was just doing things, but look, it has been like a 2-day process to get in front of here to do this. I had something uploading that was the last video that was taking forever. It took like 2 days. And I just didn't use my camera and record anything else because I think it only has so much like energy to work with, or memory, or whatever. I don't know what's in these things, but whatever it is, it's fouling up lately, so I didn't want to give it too much to do. So I've been waiting to do this, but it's fine though, because there's a lot to think about in this movie. Oh my god. So it's really strange. It stars Tiffany Haddish. I think it's an indie. When it came up in the group, the person that posted it said that, has anyone else seen this? And everyone was like, no, what are you talking about? Where'd it come from? So it stars Tiffany Haddish, and she's really good in it. But the rest of the cast, you will have seen many of them, because one of the main co-stars is the one, Chloe is the character. The actor is Kylie Rogers, and she's younger. Younger than me, but she can be seen when she is younger in some stuff I never heard of, if you want to know those details. But what I had heard of was that she was the younger version of Beth in Yellowstone, the Kevin Costner show. So she was familiar, and I was like, where the heck do I know that kid from? Because I don't have kids, so I don't watch a lot of, like I said, the stuff that she was in. I don't know if it was like a movie and she was just an extra, if it was some kid thing movie. Like, I don't know. All of the other actors, I'm sure, have many credits. I didn't look them all up because there's a pretty big cast. I did notice there was one actor that I was totally familiar with his appearance, his image, but I didn't know his name until now. So his name is Clifton Collins Jr., and the character he played, I remember that. Oh man, this is not a. I don't. There were a lot of characters, like whoever he was, is just like lost in the jumble. So I kind of stuck to the main cast, and that's like 5 people. Thank God. Really, there's a huge cast. And if they're in it and they have any kind of role or speech, they've been in other things. So they're not no one. They're just unknown to me. Anyway, is somewhere on Earth in the future, maybe they say what city and state, but I don't think they do. I'm sure that's deliberate. But it's like, it really reminded me a lot of, what's that Matt Damon one with, I think, Jodie Foster, Elysium, with the floating platforms where the rich people are literally above everybody else, like, hit you on the head with the metaphor sledgehammer. So, same kind of deal, though. Aliens arrive. I don't know that it's an invasion. I mean, it is. Sorry. You did see the sign where it says always with the spoilers? I'm about to. So, they arrive. There's... Well, the thing is that when it starts, whatever's happening with the humans on Earth and the aliens landing has already happened. So it's all underway, so they don't really talk about it. And nobody's like screaming in fear of the aliens, so I don't get the idea that it was like a violent thing. Like, I guess it was a soft invasion, but they came in to help, air quotes, help, and just kind of took over. And the way they did it appears to be one of my pet peeves. It's capitalism. And just think about this for a second. Like, all of these billionaires on this side of the screen, in reality, like with their rockets companies and going to space and all that, and I have thought a number of things about this, like, oh good, go ahead and go and stop ruining it for everyone else, and let us clean things up here and get things back in order. Take your billionaire reindeer games and fly off somewhere else. But that's not what they're doing, apparently. So I have to let the cat out. I knew he was gonna do this again. He's okay. Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, little disruptor, cute as hell, but so anyway, where was I? Already in progress, the soft invasion, and it's kind of, well, there are a number of subplots that allow us to see a kind of sad state of affairs for just Earth people, like, just it feels like if you extrapolate forward and things did not go in an entirely positive direction the way it kind of looks like it is today. I'm like blending timelines here, like reality and the movie one. But you could see how if things didn't go great, like, I don't think they're gonna go badly, by the way. I don't think that we have a terrible future going forward. Things gotta happen for things that gotta happen. But that's a different conversation. But you could sort of extrapolate forward and see if, like, things went, like, bad. But in, like, a comic book sense, just, like, absurdly bad. So Haddish's character, Beth, is a lawyer, and she's Tiffany Haddish is black. You know this, right? Well, now you do if you didn't before. And so that has a lot of societal connotations. Like, it's not as common an occupation for a black woman. Like, there's other ones where there's way more people doing it than black female lawyers. and that's in terms of now. It's would be an accomplishment like in the community, and then of people that could appreciate it among the broader part of society. So in the story, though, she has a house, this pretty big house, which is also not so common. And she did have a husband, apparently. And he does make an appearance, but I'll get to that later. But you see that she had, like, pretty good circumstances, and apparently the invasion happened, and just, like, slow leak on that balloon, basically, of her good life prospects and future. And the husband's not around. But the reason why the husband is not around, though, you don't find this out at first, is because he goes out looking for work. Because, okay, so I'm getting, like, way more into, like, the Haddish profile, or sorry, the Beth profile. The family name is Campbell, so I'm getting way far into the Campbell profile more than I need to. So let me just back it up. Beep, beep, beep. And I should have started with this because this was the beginning, and this is the other star, like right up there with Haddish as far as like output of power. Like he's really good. But so the opening sequence is, well, I gotta say that's what grabbed me at first about this, because I wrote in the group that I felt drugged watching it, and I still feel that way. Beth has a son named Adam, and the opening sequence is on his face, and they found the casting director did such a good job. This guy, and he looks like a kid. I've been saying this kid, he's, according to the bio, and the movie came out in 2023, so maybe he's 23 now, but he was 22 when that's what his bio said, is he's 22, so maybe that's his current age. I don't know, but he plays like younger in the story, and he looks younger, but the mind-blowing thing is how much he looks like Tiffany Haddish. He has a mustache, right? And it's like, I have a mustache. All of the women on my mom's side had them. They kept them or not, depending on the woman. Anyway, you don't need to know all of that, but his mustache. And remember, this guy was at least 20 or 19, because it takes a few years from filming usually for a movie to come out. So he's like 19 at least in this movie. And it opens on his face, and he's got a mustache, but it's not very heavy. And I mentioned mine just to say that it's, you get to see like his father's mustache, for instance, and, well, I mean, people have seen mustaches, right? They tend to be more filled in when you're like a fully grown adult man, and that's what he has. And if you watch the movie, it'll make a little more sense why I mentioned like mine. And also, well, yeah, you kind of have to see it to see, like, he looks so much like Tiffany Haddish. I'm getting to a point about this opening sequence that is just mainly on this kid's face for quite some time, actually, like a couple of minutes, I guess. And I'm just going, is that like a filter? Like, I couldn't figure out until he started talking. My mind could not make sense of what I was looking at. He looks so much like Haddish with a barely grown in mustache and he like boy hair, and I was like, he looks so much like her. I thought it was her. He's got a lazy eye too. So that, there's like things that could clue me in, like this is actually his own a person of their own, a separate person. But it's a very strong effect. Well, it was on me, so I imagine other people were like, "What the hell is going on, too?" And he's really good. He is an artist in the movie, but when it begins, more of what made humans on Earth just have their life is just sort of being taken away and removed. But the thing about these aliens is that it's this weird trope from like early sci-fi or even maybe like reality, where we just weren't so sure about what was happening with like the signals emanating from Earth and where they were going and who to. And then we there were these jokes about like I Love Lucy, like going out in space, and there's even been movies about it, like maybe Galaxy Quest. The aliens had like latched on to TV shows from what would have, like Lucy, how long ago is that now? Well, my lifetime. So stuff from longer even though, but they always put I Love Lucy in, like when they're like oh god, I can't think of the word, when they're telling you like what's happening. Anyway, so the aliens see the TV broadcast and like in this movie, and I think also Galaxy Quest and other stuff, but they latch onto like the 1950s, the atomic age, the atomic family, blah blah blah, that kind of thing. And the aliens out on their spaceships have to understand the time differentiality there, you know? Like they have to, like they're smarter, they can do more things that we don't know about and can't quite do at this point. So I just think it's silly that they don't know that what they're looking at is old. Like they have to realize that time has marched on, people have evolved, science has evolved, technology has evolved, biology, like whatever. Like it's all going to be different. And it's just like, it kind of breaks my brain a little bit, so I guess I think about it a little bit too much, but that's the deal with these aliens in Landscape with the Invisible Hand. They want us to be like all of this old-timey life and behavior, and it's ironic because there's people now in reality that are like making laws from like the Civil War and the 1600s. Like people really want to reverse everything, like time and space. And thing is like, I don't think you can. I think you can like dream it up in your mind or have this idea, but I feel like everybody kind of has to go along with it. And if that's not the case, then I don't think it's gonna go well or last long. Political commentary. So anyway, that is the thing with the aliens though. And so they have these platforms, so they don't live on Earth. You don't get to see a whole lot, and it actually looks like everything was filmed on a sound stage, because everything's like, the background is dark. I don't remember a whole lot of outdoors scenes, you know. And what there were, it seemed like the atmosphere and everything was gray, and just the world was dark, the light was dark. And that's partially because of their platforms literally overshadowing everything. And the platforms, just like in Elysium, well, actually, I need to watch Elysium because I've only seen it in pieces. I think I kept falling asleep on it. I know that's like a bad thing, a bad look, but it's a bad look on me, not the movie. I think the movie is probably something I'd like. I just, for whatever reason, I haven't seen it in full. So I do know that rich Earth people were like, ew, the poor is dirty, everything breaking and smelly. We're going up, and they had platforms, and they literally were like looking down on everybody else. And so, same deal in this landscape, and they got like some rich humans living up on the platforms, and then with sort of cohabitating with the aliens. And the aliens, I don't know who the FX designer was, but ew. They bring to mind Eraserhead vibes, and I know that was black and white, and if you haven't seen it and you want to be disturbed by a movie, but not by violence, just like psychological confusion. Eraserhead, I don't want to say the wrong name. I'll describe it in the information box. If I can find a piece of paper that I can write on. So I had this other, shoot, I don't want to ramble on. Ooh, I'm doing good on time. Okay. The aliens, okay, right. Link. Eraserhead. Director, writer. God, his name is like, I can't remember. I can't believe I can't remember it. Yeah, I want to just be all, come on, remember. Okay. That would not help. Anyway, the aliens are gross. Is what I'm getting at. And just like this weird conglomeration of, like, and they have these in the movie too, but I don't know which came first, but I definitely thought this about the aliens, that they were like some sort of synthetic food cube or something, or something. They have like the weird flesh color of Band-Aids, which is, I don't know, I think they changed it to make it more homogenous, but it used to be the flesh of only light people, light complected people. So, and they are described at one point by the father, as a matter of fact, which I will get back to now, as, well, what exactly was it? He either used sticky or slimy, but he called them the slimy little coffee tables because they are shaped in a square, rectangular-ish type configuration. And then they also have like their appendages and limbs look more like kelp than anything else, but they are completely the wrong color, and they have, I guess, eyes, I think, and like some kind of sensing organ, but it looks like a butt or maybe something in the region of a butt on a woman, and it's just, or like women's boobs with a cutout squished together, like if they were it's like a weird thing, but it's not a recognizable quite thing. It's just like my skin is crawling. So effective work there, bravo. And there's so much of the human touch on this too, because they have a communication gap with us, and the fixation, and then they're also like very like laser pointed focus on stuff, like almost mechanical, but it's like dismissive, like you are the lower form of life, and whatever you have to say is unimportant, because we're doing stuff our way now. Like whatever you were doing before, typical conqueror. Whatever you were doing before, throw that all out the window. You put it in the chipper, or whatever you got to destroy it. We're not doing that anymore. And I think that is part of like why the humans in this are so like just beat down. It's not just because of the invasion, because like I said, it feels like they were already headed in that direction, and the invasion was kind of like the last straw. And let me finish about the father real quick, since I was on the aliens. He does return. Like there's some thought maybe by the family that joins them, which is the next thing I want to talk about. But you may just pick up on this because it's kind of like a trope in society. It's a pejorative concept that the black father is not there, that he ran off and left the mother hanging with children and property and expenses that, and I'm talking like pre-invasion thinking, and also on this side of the screen thinking. But back to the movie, he's not gone. He has left to seek better employment, because when the aliens come, they pretty much destroy the economy, because like I said, nothing is done the same way anymore. And stuff that people used to do that was valuable, like Beth's old job, being an attorney, she could still be one, but she couldn't be as successful as she once was, because all of the rules have changed, and that affects the laws. And they don't go into that a whole lot, but you get the definite idea that, like, yeah, this could have been lucrative and cool and good, but maybe it was for a second, but not anymore. So the father's gone out to try and like supplement the income, find better work, and he says every time he gets like set up a contract or something, someone comes along and like undersells him, and then he didn't find help what he's out looking for. And the aliens have made it so that these kind of ridiculous, demeaning jobs are all there are out there, where, like, for instance, there's a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, and he's driving people back and forth because the boy, Adam, because of his art talent, which the aliens, I'm not sure if they're mocking it or really, like, enjoying it or what, but he had made a mural on the side of his school, which got closed because the aliens were like, we're not teaching you that anymore. You're learning our language and our ways, and typical conquerors. So they take him and his art up to their platform, and then they want to like put him on tour and show like his art to all of their installations in the galaxy or whatever. So he goes up to the platform, and he's picked up in a golf cart by a guy in a ridiculous like boat captain-ish uniform, and they start talking, and the guy driving was a neurosurgeon. And the kid says to him, well, God, doesn't this suck after being a neurosurgeon? And you can see the guy like goes through changes, because like he is mad as hell, because they see his talent, they know what he can do, but they decide his best use is to drive them around in a golf cart. So he says that, but differently, to the kid. And then also that they pay him 5 times what he made as a neurosurgeon. And that's such a sad commentary on us and how important money and commerce is, and like even appearance, even though like according to like what you had been thinking all along, that was like the way forever, just got slashed and destroyed, and a new thing has come along, so your whole life paradigm has been flipped. but I guess he was kind of like still on like the old smoke, like the old fumes or something, because it's like, yeah, it's 5 times more money, but I feel even shittier than I did before if I would have felt bad. But he probably wouldn't have in the paradigm of the past, because he would have been in the upper class and he would have been on a platform himself if that was of value, but he was no longer of value. So I would imagine that added to the anger, because like I said, there's a lot going on to think about, and most of that is my thoughts from seeing the scene, but that's the gist. So, oh my goodness, snorting. Bottom line is, wait, am I done? No. Was I gonna go back to after the father? Oh no, what was I saying? Because I think that was important. Oh, the basement people, right? So when the school closes, because everybody ends up going to school, and then they learn at the school that, yeah, this is all gonna end. Like, the teachers are holograms, and they're just all miserable because everything they did got changed too. In fact, all of the stuff they taught, no more. They got to teach VUV, which is the aliens, or the VUV. So they're like, we got to teach you the language, and then they just eliminated the teachers altogether, and it just all became automated, or I don't know, but everybody's just hating life, basically, and the aliens are not making people feel any better. So at the school, on the day that it closes, and they let everybody know that, like, they don't have to do that anymore. Adam, Beth's son, meets a girl, and he learns that they are homeless, and it's her father and her brother, and he just invites them to come stay at his house. Or did he invite them over to eat first? I think he invited her to come stay, and her family, with sight unseen, to come stay at his house. And I think it started out with dinner, and then it evolved, or I'm sorry, I have lost the details on that, but they end up at the house having dinner, and the mom's like, oh, I thought you were just bringing your little friend. I didn't know you were bringing 2 full-grown men. But she doesn't say the 2 full-grown men thing, but she did. She's like, I didn't know you were bringing you meant the whole family, because they are just scraping by. Like, they got this big old house. I'm not sure if Beth is lawyering. I know that she's looking for a job, so maybe she's in the same situation as the neurosurgeon. And so Beth's family, Tiffany Haddish is black, and then the kid from the beginning that looks so much like her, his name is literally his last name, wait, what is his full name? Hold on, I got notes. I only wrote the last name. Oh, Asante. Asante Black with 2 Ks. From the opening sequence. It looks so much like Haddish. Black, right? So the family that is in such trouble, which is not so different from real people right now, in reality, on this side of the screen, is a real thing. White homeless family. And so they already are depressed because they're homeless, so their life is already not great. They're suffering all of the indignities of the invasion just like everybody else, and they want to live indoors, so they end up being able to live in the basement of Beth's home. And it all is like a surprise, and she doesn't just come out and say what you can tell she wants to say is, why'd you bring all these people here? We don't have money. We can't support you. Like, all of that. And just gonna come out and say it. They're white, so that's awkward too. But she ends up letting them stay, even though the family is kind of awful about it. They're kind of like, they want to get Beth's family in the basement, and briefly they do, and it's like, it's her house. So to make money, they enter into a situation of exchange with the aliens. Well, first it's Beth. First it's Adam and Chloe, the little girl who Adam met and brought the whole family into the scene. They decide to make money that they'll do sort of a live podcast thing where the aliens also think Earth romance is just like, as you know, as seen from televised stuff, is like the perfect thing and there's no problems and it acts a certain way, but they love basically. So everybody else knows, all the humans know, that the lovey love part in the beginning, it's like this burst, and then like it kind of tapers off and turns into other stuff, or peters out completely, or there's disagreements. But you know, if it's meant to be, the disagreements will get worked out. If it's not meant to be, the arrangement will fall apart. So what the aliens love is the beginning parts, the falling in love parts. And particularly because of the friction between the two families, like the father of the white family bursts out one time and screams at Haddish, and somehow, I mean, think of every angry black woman trope or not, or just like in reality, like how much it would take to control yourself and just be like, they're in a bad situation, I'm imagining this is what would have gone on. They're in a bad situation, I'm in a bad situation, I'm in a position to help. And so she doesn't like just go off on the guy. She would have had every right to, and kick them the hell out too, because they were not as grateful as they sure should have been. In fact, like I said, at one point they managed to usurp the Campbell family out of living upstairs in their own house, in their own rooms, down to the basement. So power dynamics, white black dynamics, like all of that stuff swirling, but it's at a different place than it is here and now, just because of the forced dynamics in the situation. But I feel like you can see what is being held back from being said, because these people are so entitled that they're like, we're off the street, but we're gonna come into your house because we deserve it more than you do. Because I'm not gonna get into that whole discussion, but I think we all know what I'm intimating. So for all of those reasons, it is so good for like what it makes you. I like it for what it makes you think about. If that's what it makes you think about, it may make someone else think about completely other things. I don't know. Anyway, I thought it was really good. I think it's worth seeing. Please go see it. I get no kickback. Thank you and good night.